The Palace Ghost. Forbidden City, Beijing, China. Beijing, the capital city to one of the earliest civilizations in history, has some spooky places that are thought to be haunted and taunted by the remnants of the past. In a city with a long history, it's no wonder that daunting ghouls of events from ancient regimes are still prowling around holy grounds, graveyards, and imperial land. While some of these stories remain mythological, with no proof to back the assumed historical events that left this ghost behind, others have been studied and documented and have a very real bone-chilling fear factor attached. One of this location is the Forbidden City, a place built to house the Chinese emperors. Contrary to its name, the Forbidden City is opened up for tourism, but this doesn't change the fact that it is haunted. Rather, it brings more stories of ghost encounters in the ground. But what are the events that led to the reported hauntings in this magnificent place? Watch this video to the end as we review the chilling history of the Chinese long-standing palace, the Forbidden City. This is Daily Horror. Here we bring you gravest of horrors that lurk around in our world, most of which are around you and you don't even have an idea. So, if you are thrilled by terror and consider yourself brave enough to face any dreadful situation, subscribe and turn on your notification to get notified anytime we put up a new video. Forbidden City, or Xinjingcheng in Chinese, that translates to the Purple Forbidden Palace, is located in the heart of Beijing, the capital city of China. It is known to be home of thousands of ghosts, most of which have shown their presence to different people in different forms. With its 6 centuries of history, it is no wonder the walls which served as the imperial palace to both the Ming and Qing dynasty has many daunting secrets. In a time where execution for betrayal or disobedience was a frequent and normal occurrence, anyone who went against the imperial rule was subject to death. However, a lot of deaths in the palace weren't ordered by the emperors. Also housed in the palace were hundreds of concubines and an army, and murder was often committed by a jealous concubine or envious guard or servant who would take over another's life to be closer to the emperor. Thus, many deaths occurred, and the marks of the violent past still exist today. In 1421, Emperor Yongle ordered nearly 3,000 ladies in waiting associated with his harem, all of whom lived in the Forbidden City, to be slaughtered. Because he thought that a beloved concubine has been poisoned, he spared some of his favorites in the harem. But on the day of his funeral, 16 courtesans were hung with noses of white silk. Another tragic event that happened in the palace was in 1887, when the Guangxu emperor fell in love with a concubine called Zhenfei. Zhenfei supported the emperor's plans for political reforms, further drawing Cixi's ire. 2 years later, after the failure of Guangxu's 100 Days reform, Cixi assumed power. She banished Zhenfei to a corner of the Forbidden City where she was kept virtually as a prisoner and forbade her from seeing the emperor. In 1900, the Empress Dowager had Zhenfei killed by ordering eunuchs to drown her in a well before forcing the emperor to flee with her to Xi'an to escape the allied forces attacking Beijing. Zhenfei was 24 when she was murdered by her jealous rival. In 1901, when Guangxu and Cixi returned to Beijing, Zhenfei's family was finally allowed to retrieve the concubine's body from the well. The latter is located in the northeastern corner of the Forbidden City, and today bears a bilingual inscription recounting Xenfai's tragic tale. In the 1940s, the Imperial Palace underwent a makeover in order to house the museum and become a tourist site. Guards were put in place at this time to protect the ancient grounds. It was these very protectors that began to witness strange occurrences inside the gates of the Forbidden City. Guards confessed to witnessing odd animals running quickly around the grounds, but only late at night. Others have observed crying women in the concubine quarters of the palace, and one young man even confessed to seeing a crying woman dressed in white walking about the grounds, and when he spoke to her from behind, she never heard him or turned around. Some people even say that the Forbidden City's haunted activities at night is the very reason why it never stays open to the public late at night. In the Forbidden City, a lady with black hair has been reportedly seen running from a ghostly soldier. Sounds of screaming, weeping, and sword fighting have been heard, and specters of dead bodies, pools of blood, and pieces of white silk have been glimpsed. A tourist who took a guided tour with his cousin at the Forbidden City in 2006 gave his account of the spooky experience they encountered at the place. According to him, there were no more tourists at the Forbidden City when they went because it was off-peak hours, and they had the luxury of being taken from one room to another, having full experience of the tour and taking pictures every steps of their way. The tour was smooth and didn't have any weird encounter until they got back to their hotel room and started checking the pictures they took. Then they had the biggest shock, as one of the pictures had something that looked like an apparition of a headless ghost. They were scared to their bones when they saw the picture because, according to them, they didn't see anything like that during the tour. Inasmuch as this place has lots of cultural heritages, beauty and architectural magnificence, its past cannot be erased, as they continue to disturb the place even to this day. Have you been to this enormous estate? Were you accosted by any ghost? Did you witness any weird occurrence? Would you like to visit this place? If allowed, will you spend the night there? Tell us in the comment section. We will sure read them and engage them. Don't forget, if you've had ghostly, frightening, or an unnatural encounter with proofs and you'd want us to talk about it, use the link in the description below. We love to hear your stories. Remember to like and share this video. That's the fuel that powers our passion to bring you more entertaining and chilling content. Till next time, stay spooked. Coming up in the next episode, we go from palace to city. Get ready for the city of ghosts, Savannah, Georgia, US. Be sure to subscribe and turn on your notifications so you won't miss out on the next exciting episode.